Hello, welcome to Yes, You May, and it's on our vegan editions. Actually, it's just on the health edition because I am going on an adventure to figure out my health and make it better. And I figured, why not share that with you? Why? Because that's just kind of what I do. But something triggered me yesterday. I was on a Clubhouse and I thought it was great, and the mod was great until she started going in on this guy, insisting that if he can't quit eating meat cold turkey, then he wasn't really serious. Now, here's the thing. I am sure cold turkey works for some people, but I personally think cold turkey's for the birds. Okay? All right. When you are creating habits, the priority is to create the habit, not to feel all high and mighty and just poof, pop right into it. That is unrealistic. And I am tired of people shaming other people to try to do this or not do this or whatever. Okay. I'm not going to go on a rant on that. It's not the point of today. Kind of is, kind of isn't. But you don't need to make huge life changes instantaneously. You don't. I don't know why we try to push everybody into doing this. It is unrealistic to never work out and say, I am going to work out 7 days a week. Okay, that is putting a lot of pressure on yourself. And if you do not succeed, you will not return the next day. It is unnecessary. And frankly, trying to shame people into doing things, that doesn't work either. So I have a different method. And this is what I've been doing prior to even talking about this yet. And I touched on it a little bit the first day when I explained that we were doing this. I guess that's 2 days ago. I like to break down my goal or habit into steps. So that's the first thing you do. You understand where you're trying to go, what the habit is. And I'm mostly talking about really big habits too, okay? I'm not just talking about making your bed. Although that's a pretty good one too, right? That's a pretty good one. But we're talking about a big habit, a big life change, something that you it's going to take a lot of work. What you want to do is break that thing down. So for me, for a long time, I've wanted and been intrigued by a plant-based lifestyle. But man, just like cutting all the animal products out, cutting out alcohol and sugar, and like trying to just dive into a Whole30 diet, that was overwhelming for me. That was too much. And despite the fact that I'm having health issues and not feeling optimal, it still wasn't enough to get me 100% on board with cutting everything out, because I would go for a day or two and it wouldn't work. So what I've decided and what I'm actively implementing, so this whole theory might change. I mean, it's not going to completely change. It could evolve. I think that's the right word. It could evolve. You've got to break it down. So I know I want to go plant-based, right? So I broke it down and I thought, where can I begin? What is the first step? And so my first step, which is, I guess, step 2, my first step in this was to remove dairy. One thing. Not try to jump into vegan altogether and remove eggs and remove dairy and remove all meat products and apparently honey. That's another story. It's a callback. If anybody saw my post earlier today on Facebook. But to start smaller and then build on it. So for 2 weeks, I for sure did no dairy and technically no alcohol. And now I've gone to more of a vegan side for 2 more weeks. So what I'm doing is beginning small and expanding upon it. Because Cold turkey is for the birds. But what is also important in this process is that number 3, you reward yourself when you accomplish it. You got to reward yourself. You got to acknowledge yourself when you are doing a good job. So I broke it down in steps. For 2 weeks, I just did the no alcohol, no dairy. And at the end of each week, I had some ice cream. Not cow's milk ice cream. I had some oat milk ice cream, but I gave myself a reward. I didn't say I'm going to cut out sugar and. I gave myself smaller rewards. Now, let me explain why I think this is so important, especially when you're trying a new diet, a new exercise. Your body has to adjust. You are going to go from your body being used to consuming things, and when you take them away, there is an adjustment period. And you have to be able to give yourself time to adjust. And I don't know about you. I mean, if you can do this, good for you. Holy guacamole. I cannot. I can't just pull everything out and then be miserable for 2 weeks. Like, there is no incentive in the middle of being miserable to stick with it. Where's the incentive? It's not there. So if you can take just one thing at a time and be disciplined about that one thing, and then build upon it the next week or 2 weeks after that, add one more thing in, your success rate is going to be so much higher. Hello? Way higher. You don't have to do it all at once. One thing I was reading when I was researching the Whole30 diet, which if you're not familiar, they want you to remove anything processed, extra sugar. They want you to remove dairy, alcohol, gluten, legumes. Okay? It's like a lot all at once. And your body has to figure out what's going on. And this lady was like, okay, so here's what's going to happen. The first couple of days, you're going to be fine. You're going to feel great. And then the withdrawals are going to start setting in. And for the next up to 14 days into this diet, you are going to be miserable and hate it. You're not going to feel good. You're going to want to quit. It's not going to be great. And then even after the 2-week mark, it could still feel like that. It could still be some time because you deprived your body of all the things that it was used to getting all at once. Well, I don't know how anybody sticks with something like that. The whole point is to feel good. So give yourself some grace. Don't sprint to the finish line when it's a marathon. Come on. Unnecessary. So my point of today is that cold turkey is for the birds. You don't have to do it. Let's stop immortalizing this idea, and let's stop bashing on each other for not doing it this way or needing to do it a different way. That's unnecessary. Give your body the time to adjust. Create smaller goals and reward yourself for those goals when you meet them. And then build like Legos, one on top of the other, so that you will actually meet your goal and not just flounder it away. That's my method. That's what I'm doing. I hope this was helpful for you. If it is, let me know. As always, share it out. Share it with anybody you think is, man, struggling with this concept of cold turkey, because I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that we're telling people this is what they have to do and this is the only way to do it. It's not. It's not. Break it down into steps, your goal. Take 1 week at a time and make sure you do it and stay true to your word for yourself, because no one is watching. You still are. You still know what you did. If it's, I want a tidier home, for the first week, make your bed every day. Even if it's 1 o'clock and you get back in the bedroom and you're like, dang it. That's what happened to me today, which is hence the example. Then on the next week, make sure before you go to bed every night that you put away your clothes. So there's no clothes in the bedroom when you wake up. And then the next week, build on that. Use a building block method rather than a punch in the gut cold turkey method. That's what I'm doing. That's my thought process. I hope it helps. It just really riled me up yesterday. I don't even know when it was, when somebody was going in at it. So I hope you can give yourself that grace and understand that not everybody's method is your method either. And if this method that I'm talking about doesn't work for you and the cold turkey method does, great. I'm not bashing on you for working for you. I'm just saying, find what works for you and give yourself that grace to take incremental steps and make sure you're rewarding yourself each time you're successful at it. One small thing, one small change each and every single day builds up to a big change in the long run. Have a beautiful day. I love you. I will see you soon. And make sure you like, subscribe, and let me know what you thought.